we'll fall right in.
All right.
Fli-City got some dogs in it, dogs in it. Fli-City come off authentic, authentic. We light it up like sauce in the sauce in the soup. We light it up like sauce in the sauce in the soup. Fli-City got some dogs in it, dogs in it. Fli-City come off authentic, authentic. We light it up like sauce in the sauce in the soup. We light it up like sauce in the sauce in the soup. Rain may come, we cover for it, it's a cover charge. Cover charge. Pain come in, we force ourselves to be strong.
The reforms I'm proposing would not apply to those who are here in the
considered disrespectful and was. It is nothing compared to Lauren Boebert yelling out when Joe Biden is literally talking about his son who died.
Dirty, streets dirty, whip clean, Will K.
What's going on, Brother Roberts? Can you hear me?
All right, I'm hanging in there.
Mr. Hilbert.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Dewan said just go ahead and get it started.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay then. How you doing, man? It's so important for us to check in, and I'm glad that the few guys that are on board, we just definitely want to start off with just saying everybody just open up with a little hello, a little greeting, a little showing some love and compassion for one another because so often with men, we seldom give each other flowers. So let's take this time to love on each other. And I'm going to say, hello. I'm glad that you guys that are on the line have picked up and tuned in. And also, I'm so excited about being alive today.
Well,
So
hello
now
to
you
you
not
also.
so now you talk, and then anybody else on talk too. We just
Hey,
greeting one another. That's all.
gotcha. Hello to you and everyone else too. And I know everybody has busy days, and to be able to connect like this is a great thing to be able to kind of gather together and come with one mind thought process.
Hmm. Hmm. When you say that, um, like earlier today when we were at the school, one thing that I wanted the children, and I'm going to be mindful Monday about them actually going home and hugging a loved one and telling them that they love them. And so often I think that's very, very important that we make that a routine every day, even if we call up someone that may be in another state, another country, or on another planet. It would be good to say, hello, how you doing? Give yourself a hug and a kiss from me, because that right there can really alter a person's day. So I think that's something that really want to be working with our young people to be engaged in making sure they go home and tell their parents, their uncles, their brothers, their cousins, give them a hug and say I love you. It don't cost you nothing. It's free. And so we have to kind of continue to kind of, love them in that kind of way and then love one another. We have to kind of do that ourselves to one another and also to our loved ones because so often, that is not something that we automatically do. Sometimes we automatically say, we agree with one another, say, how you doing? And people say, man, it's rough out here, or the price of gas, or we go right into something negative as opposed to saying, something positive. So, that's kind of the mindset, the temperature we want to start our conversation with.
Understood.
All right, I don't know
So
where Dewan at.
He's
I'm
in the
I'm
office.
I'm
He's in
opening
the
up the
office
wine
on
doing
another
something else.
call.
All right.
Yeah, you can yeah, we can go back and forth with how our day is, and just work on some aspect about what are some areas we may need to work on as far as being men, being grandfathers and great grandfathers. Um, I think today, I think George, I think what did you think about today, George? What do you think about the young men? How do you think that today went?
Well, it's always a great thing to be around the youth and to help input something that's going to cause them to be successful. So, you can't do enough of that. So any day that we gather together to help advance them is a wonderful thing. Uh, Communication is always something that you have to reinvent when it comes to the youth because their communication is different from what ours is because of the eras and the ages. So, once you get that common denominator of communication, then everything is great. Because now you have the opportunity to upload and download information into them and positivity into them so they don't make the same mistakes we've made.
Do you really think this is to you too, Darius? Do you really think the children are different than we were?
No, I don't think they different. I do. I believe they getting squoze harder than any other generation that got scrolls when it comes to opportunities and um, especially here in Flint. You know what I mean? Clearly, the water situation they had dealing with their water and stuff like that. So I think they being scrolls harder. But I do want to say this: like I think they have more of a voice than any generation have had. Like this generation don't have no problem letting you know what is and what ain't. Like, I ain't trying to hear that, or I am trying to hear, you know what I mean? More than any generation, especially more than my generation, I know, you know what I'm saying? But
I know that's right.
I
Yeah,
feel
I
like,
like.
and I feel like because the powers that be know that, they put more of a squeeze down on them to try to close down their voice in their minds, really. You know what I'm saying? I think this is one of the greatest generations, and that's why they under so much of an attack right now.
I like that, Darius. I think you onto something because if that boldness, what you saying, Darius, if that boldness can be channeled, man, you talking about some high tech Black Panthers, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, real talk, because we got, hey man, I done seen some young ladies, fearless, man. I'm talking about fearless, brother.
Yeah.
Real talk. I'm
Yeah.
talking about 13 and 14 years old, man.
Yeah. They started they young. I had to
I
tell
love it.
one of my daughters, I say, man, you got your voice. Let me be the force behind it. I have to remind her, let me be the force
Yeah.
behind it, though. Don't be forceful also. You just have your voice. But I'll be the force behind it because she got a voice.
Yeah, that's important. And like you just said, that direction, because,
Yeah.
just like what's going on in school, these kids are not getting no understanding of social studies. Y'all think about this, man. They don't understand, just what laws and policies and procedures. Again, when you think about civics and social studies, man, those were fundamental, man, in school. They don't do that no more. These kids don't have a clue about a lot of laws and policies that affect them at a young age, man.
Yeah. By design. Yeah.
So you asked if you think if I think they're different from us when we came up. I- it's the same human beings. Just communication to me is the difference. Is to communicate how they communicate. They have technology that we didn't have. They have technology you didn't have, and so on. So the way that their cadence and how they communicate with each other is different. But that same energy, when you have uh certain folks that you like, man, you just wilding out, or you just full of energy, or you're just smart. It's always the same. It's still the same blueprint. It's just the communication device is different on how they speak. It's just like how newspapers in the English language was different 100 years from ago than it is today. On how the dialect is. So they just see the world a little differently, and they have. This is for me when it comes to our youth, especially Flint or youth that grow up in an urban environment, is that you're talking about young adults that don't have the big mamas like I had. They don't have the same support groups and the tribal groups like I had. I think my generation was one of the last to have those things. So they still have a herd mentality, but it's different because the older matriarch and patriarch isn't the same for them. They have parents and grandparents that had to go through the crack epidemic. They had parents and grandparents that understand what it looks like to go through deconstruction of a community when it comes to economics. Flint is the perfect example of all of it. When I graduated high school, we had the best school system in the country, and that was in '95. But what happened now? We only got one school left, Southwestern. How much sense does that make? So the fight has been kicked out of our lungs, or they trying to kick it out of our lungs. So the systematic breakdown of the community, they've had the knee on Flint's neck for at least 20 years to break down everything that we had. We had car dealerships that were owned by black men. You know, Superior Pontiac and what was the name? Al
Al
Bennett and
Bennett.
so
Al
such like
Bennett.
that. So and you know you got to have a grip of money to own a car lot, that especially a General Motors owned a vehicle car lot. So we come from that era. We had it was so many different things. You know, think about Bishop Floyd and the tremendous power that he had when it came to the black vote and things that moved about in the city of Flint. You know,
Okay. So George, stop there. Put a pin on that because I want to open it up. I mean, you going somewhere because just like what Darius was saying now, why? Just like Floyd and Bennett in our community, why didn't Floyd and Bennett and all these other people reinvest in our community, not leave our community, and really do the mentoring so you can raise up those Floyds, those McCrees, those Tuckers, those individuals that are committed to the community, one, understanding the politics, because the real issue is a lot of those guys like Tucker and McCree and all them, they got their skills from at in school. They was on city student council, so they understood Robin Rules the order. Then they went to college. Then they was able to become foremen, and then they got in the union because the union used to take a lot of our brothers and sisters and school them about business and about political science and applying laws, meaning policies and procedures run any business. It runs your household. Like with Darius and with you and all of us, we got a household. So with kids or not no kids, even if you're alone, you got some policies in your house. You got some rules and some goals in your house. You planning on vacation. You saving money. So the same thing. What I'm asking you guys, and really with you, George, why didn't those Bennett's and Floyd's and all them people make sure that they left a legacy where we were reinventing ourselves and bringing up young bucks like ourselves to be responsible, and then teaching us not to run out of our community. Because our communities right now would not be devastated if we didn't leave it.
They didn't really care. I don't mean to interrupt, George, but I don't feel like they really even cared about the community. What happens is a lot of brothers, influential ones at that figure out what you was just saying, that then had the understood how the laws work and all that. Once they can get to a position where they have some money, it ain't coming back in here because there's no heart really for the city. For the people, it's not really there. Their heart was in what they can do for themselves. That's why we done had NBA stars come from here, and who's done anything like LeBron done for Accra? Who's came back to Flint and was like, oh, a couple of us gonna put some money together and do this. I know some players that put their block on though. You know what I mean? Put the bag in guys' hand on the block. But it's like, what about you got all these kids that ain't they dreams and aspirations. Like you got kids that really can be something, but there's just no care. It's really no care for the community. Then you got guys that never return, like you were saying, Brother Rob. You got guys that leave, that grow up in Flint, make it, and never come back. Never come back. They ain't bringing a dollar back here. And they done got raised on some of these street corners and some of these blocks and looked after by some of these people and some of these businesses. They won't bring a dollar back to it. They ain't gonna lose no sweat over the fact that the north side is going down all the way down in the drain, and that the east side is right behind and places like that. They ain't losing no sweat over that at all.
I think you're on point, and just like George was talking about Big Mama and Big Daddy and how we had those tribes, I think that's critical too, because when you think about the fabric of a community or fabric of the family, just like both of you guys, I know both of you guys got people that y'all grew up with that are not biologically related to you,
Yeah.
but you think of them like a brother and sister, and you call them cuz
Mm-hmm.
because that's the relationship y'all had growing up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's that same thing about Big Mama and Big Papa because those were pillars in our community. Because
Yeah.
they could say something to me, and I'm gonna respect what they say. I'm gonna listen. I ain't gonna act a fool. I'm gonna stop what I'm doing and chill out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how what Big Mama and them Big Papa, that's what they represent. Because in many cases they may not even know us personally, but because they at that stature, and that's another thing we need to get back. I think people my age, really, really that them woke up and not crazy no more, just like you said about what the crack did intentionally to our community, just like what they did to drop a bomb on St. John when they put that expressway in there. They put that in there to destroy that tribe you was talking about, George. They broke the foundation of a village up because that was a real village over there, brother. Just like Floral Park on the south side, that was real village, brother. They dropped the expressway in there intentionally to destroy the unity of the black community. And what we got to do is peep from history, take those things from history and reapply them, refashion them, reapply them, and repair our community.
Yeah.
So to go off of what you asked earlier is why people haven't come back and why haven't they contributed. I believe that in my perspective of the whole thing is that I grew up in Flint, born and raised, drank the water, uh, grew up on the north side, first ward. My parents had a business called Grundy's Collision on Saginaw and Baltimore Street, right across
I
from Mount
remember
Calvary
that.
Baptist Church. So I
I
grew up
remember it.
there and I saw the world from a different perspective, from a business owner's perspective, and from a Kojic church perspective. So my viewpoint of it is the decline of the North End and the decline of Flint was all systematically constructed. It wasn't just a black thing. It was
Oh no.
a unity thing that because you got, for me, I look at it like Buick City was the most powerful corporation on the planet. Period. Point
Yeah.
blank. The local 599 was the most powerful gang on the in the universe.
You're
So for
right
what
about
I
that.
understood, I'm a union person. I'm like this. I believe in unity. I believe in the things that may have been discord years ago. We come in unity once we understand each other's language. So uh when Buick City was destroyed, after they had did all that investing in it, put all those fiber optic lines under the streets and under the infrastructure and all this stuff was supposed to be investing into the future for what was going on right this moment as we breathe, was destroyed within moments of negotiations and things like that and other things that were unbeknownst to us. But that was part of it because you got this whole universe itself, which is called Buick City, that it was its own city, it was its own uh, ecosystem. Then you have the crack epidemic that came through the 80s and 90s heavy, and it changed everybody's mentality. People that I know, folks today, that they look like they, the board of health. But when the 80s and 90s was going on, you was trying to figure out what day they was going to die because they didn't look well at all. But God has brought them through. The Creator has allowed them to keep going. It was a lot that happened. I'm When I was going to Holmes Middle School, I had a friend that was selling crack to our English teacher,
Mm.
just to give you an understanding on how much this thing destroyed community. So we had to hold on to a lot of things, and unity was the only thing that held us on. So going back to the point of why didn't people, so when you're going through this devastation and you all you see is war and warfare and destruction, and you have a little bit of money or you have a little bit of standing and you have kids that you want to do well, you're going to tell them go to where the water is flowing and the grass is green. I don't want you here. You leaving Kosovo right now. You leaving Ukraine. We're going somewhere else. You know, I'll stay here and fight, but you, my child, you going somewhere else. You get a few of those folks that's like, we all gonna live and ride and die here. And a lot of the folks that do that can't afford to go nowhere else. So you gotta double down and do what you can where you at. I seen my father's business go from good to standing to insurance companies, big name insurance companies talking dirty on his name and everything, and just because they didn't want people to come to the north side of Flint and they want to usurp his business other places, so on and such. You know, it just changed. The dynamics changed, and we know, and the government has admitted to putting that thing specifically crack into our community purposely, and it did a great job at better than what 475 did to the community, because 475 just relocated people. Drugs reprogram people's mindsets. So now, after you have two generations of that, and you have these young adults now, they like, look, y'all hypocrites. Don't be telling me about nothing. You don't even want to tell the truth about who you was and where you came from and nothing else. I'm living my life trying to figure it out, and you give me all these things. Ain't no jobs here. Ain't this, that, and the third. You give me something that counts, because whatever you saying don't make no sense. You was locked up all of most of my life. You was this, that. Like, what can you tell them without uh you know, because we don't want them to deal with everything that we dealt with. But again, you can't put on such a high cover, put all these different things on you and act like you ain't going through nothing, because they going through stuff. Our young adults and our kids are literally dying every day because of the decisions that they making, because they're having issues that are cyber, that become real, because somebody sent a text or sent the Instagram message or sent the Facebook message or whatever platform they're using, and they got upset about it because they got laughed at, or somebody trying to challenge them, and now it's done for. And still, they still got the same things that we dealt with. There's still illegal means of income coming in. There are still fashion issues. There are still self-esteem issues. So it's the communication to me, and they can't help but to be as raw as they can, because what else do they have? They don't have no General Motors to go to and fix their life once they done did all kinds of stuff and put things up their nose. They don't have Consumers Energy's not hiring like that. The Kettering is not upholding the things that they said about giving education to young adults. You know, the whole system is not doing what it said it would do. And then there's so many things that have changed where the system has broken down. And it's not just broken down for black folk, but white folk can't figure out where they at either, because they trying to figure out why the stuff that they set up ain't working right for them, and why they being treated the same way. So Flint is one of those cesspools to where everybody look alike, we just different colors.
Now, when you say that, Darius, you know, you just heard what George said. Now, coming from a younger man, what would you say in response to, you know, what George just laid out? And then coming from your perspective, and especially since you do have children that are, you know, at that impressionable age, that's critical. It's critical when you talk about, you know, mentally what they are putting into their brain. Then they see all this chaos, and then we constantly. And I know you as a parent, it's your responsibility to make sure that you're making sure you are broadening their horizon as wide as you possibly can do, so they don't be thinking that they're in this little box and they devalue. Because as George just laid out, that crack, that when they destroyed and moved all them jobs and tore Flint up like they did, all that was intentional, man. That was not by accident. So go ahead, Darius.
Yeah, that the 80s and 90s epidemic did hit hard. I remember so my father left when I was 2 or 3 years old. But my first stepfather, my mother remarried in 90, I want to say 93, 92. I had a stepfather in 92. And he lasted every bit of like, he had just came home from prison. He had, all means to change his life while he was in there, learned some skills and things, came home and lasted a couple months. See, when he left, the crack was just coming in. So he lasted a couple months and then he got caught up in the crack epidemic. And like I say, we only had him as a stepfather for a few months. And then he was gone to the streets. And so I didn't grow up under a man. It was just my mother and us. So I didn't get to have that. And then for my generation, I often tell people this. I say, man, I went to 5th grade. I went to Bunch Elementary School. My 5th grade class, all the boys in that class, either in prison now, been to prison, or dead. All the males that's in that class, I think 2 didn't do nothing. I got 2 friends that didn't have no issues, but didn't go to prison, but been a part of the system. And it ain't not one male child in that class that haven't been a part of the system, and a few of the females. And when I look back on that, I say that's part of another part of destruction as well, because what they did with the elders above me, like George was saying, brought in that crack epidemic to bring them down. But then Biden and Clinton brought in that mass incarceration to hit the next generation. You know what I mean? And now they got a new tool for the next generation because they just want to keep crushing it. Just want to keep crushing, keeping down us from being fighters. Because if you remember, the sit-ins began with black college students. John Lewis and other college students, they were young black kids, men, boys and girls that started those sit-ins. And so they got, for a long time, I guess the government just got to thinking like, you know what, from now on, we gonna start crushing the generation by generation to generation. We're gonna keep bringing in something new to crush generation by generation. And like I was telling, and like you just said, George, if you in Flint, you said it good. It's not about color, because if you're in Flint, at this point, we're dealing with a class situation. Because I told some white people, I said, listen, if you in Flint and you poor, you black, just about. You know what I'm saying? You just about. You still got some privileges we don't have, but at the same time, you dealing with some things that we dealing with too. You drink, you got to deal with the water. You got to pay for water that you can't use. You know what I'm saying? You going through all the situations too. But these are the ones that they use to perpetrate they bidding though. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always the whites around us that's screaming the racism and racist things and all that type of stuff. And it'd be shocking, like, well, oh, you dealing with the same things I'm dealing with. I mean, we should be moving. You should be moving with me right now. But I just feel like they always find something different with each generation.
Now,
And then when you look at our young brothers and sisters now, what they doing to us, and like you were saying, like the technology. See, we didn't have this technology. So now that they got this technology in such a way, so now what they can do is they can use they use this technology to break their minds. And for our men, they feminizing our men. See what they doing to our men, and for our young women, they teaching them to not even need a man. You don't need these. You don't need them. You don't need them. They ain't no good. We're gonna feminize. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the young men that these our little brothers look up to, wearing dresses, wearing purses, scared to speak out on the behalf of themselves and other brothers. You know what I mean? So they teaching them how to be cowards and punks and all that type of stuff, man. And it's rough. And for us,
so when
we have to show love.
So going off what you're saying, to me, it's a double entendre on the demasculation. So to me, that's part of, in that community, is what gives them, emboldens them, because what else you gonna take from them? So now you didn't took this away from me, and I didn't realize you took it from me. So what are you gonna say to me that now I can't speak up about? I'm gonna say whatever I need to say, however it is. So the thing is, the information that's input into people, once they have the freedom to feel and be abstract to everything. Like you can point your finger at me and call me this, that, and the third, and say that I'm this. But guess what? I have a freedom that you don't have, so I'm not going to let you take that from me. The thing is, now you have to input certain information so they can build upon that and understand and know who they really are, and they can make those decisions. Because like for me, I was 27 years old before I realized that I wasn't going to get killed out in the streets. I was, running around here and I'm not a thug or a street dude, but I've always been associated with, and I'm relating those two things, saying that there's a certain point when you get certain information, you wake up. It's like, it's a magic trick. It's like, you mean I could have known this when I was 18? You mean
Okay,
this
okay, okay, George. When you say that, okay, and I want to circle back because I want to see how both you guys look at this. So just like you said about the 80s and 90s and the intentionality of what took place with that evil Clinton and Biden and them, and then supported by every president since, because if you look at in 1970, the United States spent $200 million a year on prison in 1970. Today in 2022, it's over $300 billion. So if you look at that, if you look at those numbers, which it has become a business, but I really want to see what you guys think about this. This could be a kilo of cocaine right here. This is a kilo of cocaine, and this is my 9mm or AK-47, what I gotta protect my dope. Now this dope, kilo, 2.5 grams, or 2.5 pounds, it could sit on this table, it could sit on this bed, and this gun could sit on this bed for 100 years and not be touched. Why do you think we indulged in crack and cocaine? At that time, why do you think our people chose? Because it was a choice now.
Right.
Where was I thinking that we chose to use a substance and then back it up with protecting it by killing, stealing, destroying? Because if I'm selling dope, I got to protect you from coming to take the dope from me. So, and then I'm the bag man, or I'm the man with the money. So everybody else jealous of me, they out to get me because I'm bling, bling, blinging. So why do you think we as a people now, not about any other ethnicity, but why do you think we chose to allow crack, cocaine to devastate our community?
I'm a utter some of the words. I watched Dr. Umar Johnson. I watch him a lot, and there was something he said about that. And what he said was, he said, if you go back, remember, and I think y'all probably know when y'all was going to high school. By the time I got to high school, what I'm finna say was gone. I had it up until 6th grade. That was the last time I seen woodshop. So you used to have like woodshop, home ec. You had these skills that they was teaching us, that they would teach the young, and it was in public schools too. So you had these young black kids that was learning skills that was going to be able to put you in a position to be able to take care of family. Because you look back in the 70s and the 80s, before the shops and stuff left, like black people could really live good lives. A man could make a good enough living to take care of his household. The wife didn't have to work because he was making good money. So he took care of the household, he took care of his business. Now, when they stripped us of trades and all that type of stuff and these skills with our hands, and they got it, and they used the thing about saying, now you got to go to college. You got to go to college now because college is the thing. And then when they tricked that, they moved the skill thing and brought in this college. And at the same time, all these drugs and stuff is coming in, right? All these drugs and stuff is coming in. So when you got a family, you got a family. You ain't got time to be going to no college. You got to take care of this family because this degree don't guarantee you no money. So they introduced this drugs to the inner city, And for the man to even eat, because you couldn't make the money you was making in these skilled trade jobs no more because they wasn't there no more. So once you took that skill away from them, they had to find other ways. And like you said, still choice, but they had to find other ways to try to support the family the way they were supposed to, because the man was still trying to be relevant. We were still trying to be relevant to the family, relevant to our women. Like I said at first, when you got them trades, that's what I buckled down and learned the skill trade. Because when you got them trades, you can when you skilled, I always tell people, you got a skill, people gonna pay you for that skill. But when you don't have a skill, you just trying to work and you just working dead end jobs. So, and then you wasn't relevant. You ain't making enough money to take care of the women and children. So it's always a problem at home, and always an issue at home between the man and the woman. And so he got to find a way to try to make himself relevant to the household. And then fall into the same trap that they looking for him to fall into. Start selling these drugs, which they even gave to some of us that had them selling for the government. And then when they was through with them, locked them up and threw away the key on them. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So that's why I feel like when Dr. Umar Johnson said, they said, man, they started taking away all the skilled trades. They introduce you to this college thing, and all the college is a money grab. Because it's one of the highest when they get to talking about the debt ceiling and how much money America got. Them college debts is one of the bills they use.
Yeah.
They love to throw it out there. Yeah, we got all this money that these people owe us for college. But then you got people with degrees that ain't even working in them fields because you can't get the job in them fields for real. So
good. So what is your answer, George?
I got a couple different things. So going back to the prison industrial complex, complex is a system, is a program. And drugs have been here forever. The Chinese been doing opium for thousands of years. The Egyptians was doing cocaine. It was all types of. You look at the Aztecs; they was on hallucinogens and all this other stuff. So drugs have been here forever. The idea of having an experience, outer body experience, using a chemical to do that has been here forever. But going to what he was saying, there was a supply and demand issue. So you take away people's ability, then there becomes a demand. What's the demand? I need to make money. I need to have a something to support my life and the life around me. So, and going even further back than that, we understand the history that our ancestors came here on slave ships and by the means to do work for free for others. So we've always been at the bottom or the least respected when it came to humanity, on which we understand it. So when you have folks that somehow revolt so much and figure out how to empower themselves to have a voice and have a freedom, then that those people are still fighting for that or maintaining that point of you're going to respect me, but the person that owns you or considered you an animal is still going to look at you like a nasty dog. There's some people, which I believe when President Obama was in office, that looked at him like this Negro is not going to get nothing passed by me because this dog don't even supposed to be in office. I believe some people actually thought that because of their mentality based on slavery, based on what their ancestors taught them. So when you fast forward that and you look at what eugenics wanted to do, when you look at what Sanger wanted to do, when you look at all these different even the Masonic order, when they were dealing with medicine on black slaves, they were opening these folks up while they was alive just to experiment on them to see how the body worked, to see how the function of human beings work. Because they're not really human beings; they're subpar. They're one-fifth of human. So with all these things, with the mentality of people saying that I'm gonna take my child to a lynching or to a burning, and we're gonna have a good time. The mentality there is just so deplorable and just so decrepit that when you fast forward it into this thing to where you have a prison industrial complex, it's like good for them. We got a place to put them. Okay. Yeah, and you look at the numbers. So it's supposed to be like 35, 40 million of us here, 15%, however. So and it's 375 million Americans in this country, period. If you just say we'll sacrifice 35 million of ours as long as we get rid of the 35 million of them, they're going to look at the numbers and say it's okay. We'll lose 35 million because we're still going to have 200 and something million left. So I believe we have to understand that we are the group in this country and in most of the world as African Americans at that title that are throwaways. We're the ones that they're willing to do experiments on to see how the chemical effect of certain drugs are going to be, to see how the living conditions are going to turn the human mindset, to see how taking away and systematically doing certain things is going to affect people so they know what to do for their higher echelon communities and how not or how to direct that. When you look at military warfare, a lot of strategies come from rural and urban conflict. So when you talk about Cabrini Green and how they did a lot of things to to break that project system down during through the police construct, they use those things in the military construct when it comes to how stuff was done in Iraq and Afghanistan, because it's urban warfare, it's urban environment, it's a certain mentality, it's a closed environment. So we have to understand that we're experiments. We are the folks that they use in order to see how they're gonna do other things.
Okay,
And
so put a pin in that. Why do we let? And I want to. We just had somebody on. Thomas Robertson said, if Republicans was running the city of Flint, it wouldn't look like it looks. Then he said, Democrat payments, food stamps destroy black communities by not having the fathers living with the mothers, what the mothers,
I guess he trying to say
uh,
got on food stamps or something.
yeah. So,
yeah,
but one
the
thing
system
I just
takes the
want to share,
man out of the family.
somebody, Thomas mentioned that, and again, we can touch on that in a minute. But back to what you were saying, you know, all the things you were talking about just we've been here for 500 years. Why do we keep letting ourselves be just like you mentioned about Jesse Washington in 1916? 10,000 people watched that young man get burnt alive, and then they took pieces of his body as souvenirs and children, and they call it a picnic. That's why people shouldn't say picnic, it's pick a nigga. They advertised the lynching, the burning of this young man. They had a celebration. And when you just mentioned about Cabrini Greens, I'm from Chicago, lived there, lived at Robert Taylor Homes. Why why do we continue, just like with Brother Darius' experience out in Clio? Because if you think about it, a lot of times we march, we complain, but we ain't willing to die. We make sure that we go to that job that the white man owns. We make sure, and don't get me wrong, guys, this country called America is a business. What do black people really own, produce, or make in this country? What kind of laws do we control? What kind of
N- n-
power do we
n-
really control, guys?
Nothing
Real
now,
talk.
but during slavery times, we had all of the skill sets. So we've always tried to have
And stop. Wait a minute, George. Stop there. Why didn't our people? We had all them skills during being enslaved. Why we
I'm gonna
didn't
tell you.
kill all them white people?
I'm gonna tell you because we've always been trying to get in a position of comfort because we never had the position of power in this country. So when you have to fight for everything in the sense of trying to even get a mindset of ease to wonder if you're going to have a decent sleep at night. Every human, it was like the Romans are known for making the worst type of torture in the world in life. They, to destroy a person's hope in humanity.
Boil
So
you in water, all that. Yeah.
right. So what slavery did, it took the soul of people. But what the thing was, the magic that they didn't understand is that when you put it's like a seed. When you bury a plant or bury something, it has to die first before it grows. So that's the human spirit. That's what people didn't understand about the human spirit. You kill these people till they don't have any hope, any desire, any nothing. But when that dies, something is going to grow because a spark's going to happen because somebody is going to understand that this isn't it. But structurally, we didn't have the weapons. We didn't have the support. All we had enough to do was to get by. It was almost like being in a mouse maze. Like somebody's looking down and they're allowing certain things to happen, but they always have enough power to stop certain things. Again, an experiment.
Wait a minute, stop there. I can't let you keep going. I asked you specifically. We were and still are considered not even humans. We are considered property even today. We are not valued today. But back to this argument. Why didn't those black people that was cooking food for those white people poison and kill all them white people?
They did. They was grinding up all glass as fine as they could. They was putting rat poison in it. There was many stories of people that was doing that. But collectively, we didn't have that collective mind state. Now what we have is that all of the things that we've dealt with have, and the technology has caught up. So all we need to do is continue to do what we're doing right here, this unity and understanding, and put a movement on it. Where do we want to go with it? What do we want? We have to position ourselves for power now because we have everything that everybody else has. So that the technology is a equalizer. You can't tell me that I can't, because I can say, hey Google, blah blah blah.
Right. Right.
But
Now
you can't.
with
But you can't say, "Hey Google," if you don't have Google access. With many of these underprivileged and poor communities, do not have access. Number one. Then let me say this to you also, because I can't let you get by with this one. You said that there were a few that did do some things like Nat Turner, but you said, which was really poignant, collectively. If you think about the collectiveness and the communal of us, even when you think back in the 14th century, when those Portuguese boats came upon West Africa, Mali and all them, the first thing they should have done, and they didn't, was not to let them white people on their lands. Now you think about it, because if history would totally be rewritten differently, because as someone mentioned about the Romans' torture, there has never been the worst torture on the planet Earth than chattel slavery that black people have experienced for 500 years in America. There have always been certain types of slavery in the world, but never in the history of mankind, and even our ancestors on the African continent, never tortured and destroyed and broke up families and killed families and used baby for gator bait. I mean, literally, use children, babies,
right
just like Darius' little baby. Take Darius' little baby and put him in the swamp
to churn the
for
water as
for
chums.
alligator, to
Yeah,
kill an alligator, right? Now,
right.
no, we never thought of we don't think like that. So my
That's
point that I'm only making to
So
you
so let
guys,
so
that's
let
that
me
wait,
let me
let me
take
make
what you're
my point.
saying.
yeah.
Back to what you said about unity. That thing about unity, we cannot glaze over that, because that's our problem. We are
Mhm.
not unified.
But
That's
we were.
Bam,
key.
We were at one point in time. And
bam.
I'm gonna be quick. I'm gonna be quick.
Oh,
So
go ahead.
again, look at the reflection of Flint. They destroyed Flint because of the unity, unions. and everything that black folk were pushing because we had the money and ability to do it. Okay, the second thing is that we are perpetuating the same psychological mind state of what slavery did through all of the sports that we watch. The owners are the masters, and everybody else is pushed around and sold and auctioned off, and that mentality stays. So it's only a unity mentality for
Right.
the masters, for the owners, for those that, and everybody else is under echelon. So we perpetuate that construct and that psychology. The other part is that there, if it's written down on paper, regardless of who's racist and who's trying to stop stuff from happening, if it's on the paper and it's a federal mandate, then we have access to go and get it. So with the technology thing, there are federal mandates that have to be done in order to put technology into underserved communities. You just have to have the people that know how to write the paperwork and know and have the fiduciaries that are not going to hold the money or put them in other communities that don't need as much help. And I'm gonna stop here, but this is my issue with this country, my country, and I'm a United States Marine veteran, 100% service connected disabled. I have a lot of brothers that are white and other cultures. My thing is that the ignorance of them not understanding that all a tide rises all boats. A high tide rises all boats. So if they find a way to get rid of us, then it's doomsday for them. They'll never recover from getting rid of us. But if they allow or get out the way and allow us to maximize our abilities and capabilities by not being so racist, then it's going to increase everything around them and us. Look, they had to rob us during the 80s and 90s in order to push these wars. They robbed all the dope dealers in order to fund wars.
Wow.
I'm gonna pig you off. This was a conversation. Me and shout out to brother Rodney. I see he tagged in. Me and Rodney was kind of saying what you was just saying, brother Roberts, about all the savagery that was done to us, and one of the reasons I think we never just came together as a unit to just go back at them was because we didn't have it in us to be that as savage as they were. It's just we weren't created to be that savage. Like you were just saying, brother Rob, you can't name a time. I tell my white friends this. You can't name a time in history where you can find black people going to some other race, ethnicity, or whatever, and doing anything even remotely close to the type of things that the Caucasian race did to us. Having sex with the men in front of their kids to dehumanize them, to make them not look at the man like he was a superhero no more. You know, you do these type of things to break mentally, you know. And I try to remind people, yes, black people are God's chosen people. We are supposed to be in charge. We supposed to be in charge because of the fact that we was given that right as God chosen people to usher in God to the rest of the world, to usher that relationship in. So we were supposed to be in charge. So if you look at the black communities that thrive on their own, when you look at all of the communities that was on their own, Rosewood, Colfax, Wilmington, North Carolina, Atlanta in 1903. When you look at these communities, you realize, like, man, when black people is in rulership, we thrive. We thrive. See, but the white folks, they don't want. They got a thing still in government that say the Negro would never be in rule. That's why I always tell people, like, voting is a big thing, voting is a good thing, but we ain't gonna never get nowhere. We ain't gonna never get where we need to get our vote.
I don't have half an hour
never
more.
get there, our vote.
I say I've been here since, like
They
you say,
do not want to let the Negro have rulership. But if
Mr. Robinson,
our Caucasian counterparts will come to their senses and understand, like, boom, if we gave this country to these black folks, this country would thrive. We would thrive because we did it with little communities. Little communities thrive. They gave it to us. We took it to all another level. So they saw what we did. They wanted it, so they went in and took it by force. went in and took it by force. And I piggyback on what George was saying. Another one of our reasons was we never was able to protect ourselves. We never had it. We didn't have enough to protect ourselves. But now, we got it now. That's why I'm telling people now, I say, now is our time. We can get our own community. The only difference now than any other time that we had our own community, now we can protect it. We're in a position now where we can actually protect it. And we got soldiers. I mean, we got the soldiers. We just got to get their minds in the right spot. But we got the soldiers. You feel me? We got them. We got all of them. You know, we just got to get them in the right spot. Brother Robinson already get that love. But we just, that's it. That's it. We got them now.
Can I get one too? Can I get one too?
That's right.
No, I just messing with you.
Black love. We love you, Brother Robinson. We love you.
Come on, baby. Come on.
Bro.
Come on. I think y'all speaking gospel here, man. My apologies. I was on the back end, but I was listening.
Yeah.
I think y'all was definitely talking gospel on this.
George had touched on a big factor about the fact. One of the things was on why we couldn't move like we needed to move back then, because we just didn't have the means to protect ourselves. We really did. Like the white folks had the guns and stuff. We couldn't get them. We couldn't bear the guns. We couldn't bear arms like that. Few of us had them, but we couldn't bear arms like that. You know, we just couldn't do it. But when you look at now, it's so precision. You go get you a gun. You can protect yourself and your home and your household physically. Now the only thing is getting everybody to buy in, which was another issue even back then. You couldn't get everybody to buy in, because even that Cole, even when he got the those two buy in, you had those people that went that, you know, you better not do that, and then went back and told the Indians what was going on. You know what I mean? We got to get out. We got to get enough for us to understand, like, listen, what we doing ain't going to mess things up for you. It's going to make your life better. So come in, fall into the plan, and come in with the plan. And if for some reason, before we get to that point where we pushing it, for some reason, we realize that you're not in on the plan and you're not in on a part of it, we got to treat you as such.
Let me follow up with this conversation, what y'all saying, man. That's where it is, man. Before, you're right, we didn't have the opportunity, we didn't have no guns, we had education, we had nothing, right? You know what I'm saying? We was real servitude to the situation. But now, as free people, as understanding, reconnected back to our culture, understanding who we are, you know, it is a much different game. And I think our thing is being in the mindset, right, to be able. I'm gonna mute you, brother. But it's just being in the mindset to be able to go and handle where we are and take it to where we need to be. And that's just being honest with self, bro. It's like sometimes, like, and I look at this and I guess, you know what I'm saying, for everybody else in every other culture, man, they stand strong and they fight for it. For Black people, we've been so discombobulated and so out of reach, out of touch with who we are, that, you know, it's just a thing where we just felt we've been beat down. We got to build each other up, but then have the mindset to know where the direction we're going to take this culture. It's not about, I'm tired of even complaining about the past and not having nothing, right? I'm sick of that. Like, I'm sick of just feeling like, you know, that we got to be at the bottom. And I don't think people sick enough to stand up from being at the bottom. And that's the thing that's frustrating. It's frustrating. Like, it's the thing, it's frustrating as hell. And that's stuff that we got to do. We got to mount up. We can't expect nobody to come do this stuff for us. We be knowing the problems. We know the issues. We can't even make excuses. We know what's up. It's just like, what do we choose to do? Are we going to really say, well, we see this problem has been a problem, it's been an existing problem. And these are our steps of addressing it. Like you just said, y'all were talking about unity. Unity has to be the first thing for Black people. And if you ain't learned that from Ukraine, then you should be understanding that, man, unity has to be the first thing when some people come into your damn community, or people who come in and try to inflict pain on your nation, then you better stand up for something. A lot of times, man, you know what I'm saying, we used to frustrate with me, you know, when we out there protesting, demonstrating, because Black men getting killed out in the streets and Black women being killed while they in custody of law enforcement. it used to kill me because that should be enough for everybody to stand up and roll deep and everybody be about it. It don't matter if you got a comfortable job. It don't matter if you feel like it's not a popular position. It don't matter about none of that stuff, because that's when you come down off your post and say, listen, I'm getting in the streets. I'm not going to take this. It's not, we just not walking and demonstrating and protesting. No, we about to take it to drastic measures. We about to take it there. And if you ain't got that resolve to you, then man, them people don't take you serious. That's why, I mean, they probably look like, man, all y'all do is just gonna walk. All y'all do is gonna cry about some stuff. You ain't gonna mobilize together and have a plan and do it. That folks be looking at us like that. Even in our own community, in this city of Flint, we can't even get on one accord, which this is a 65% black city. We got millions of dollars in the coffers. We can't even say, hey, all right, you know what? Public safety has been an issue. We're not talking about bringing more police in, but what we're going to do is invest in the people in this community so we can sidestep all the assaults, the domestic batteries. We can stop that where we incentivize folks, but also really just kind of neutralize the problems, right? A lot of times it be finances. People be arguing about money and how the quality of life. If you don't do things to address a person's quality of life or change their circumstances, you shouldn't say nothing. You shouldn't expect that more police on the street is going to make a difference for us in this community who have already been inflicted on pain from the police, from outdated laws, from the Constitution that folks want to uphold as a marker for American history. All that stuff is garbage if folks ain't really understanding and really actualizing themselves in life. And I'm just feeling like I've been sick of this. It's so tired talking about this garbage, bro. Like we talk about the same shit. Like that'd be so frustrating. And I'm trying not to be just so overboard with it, but it's very frustrating to be in these positions.
Okay.
I'm tired of being on the ground. I'm tired of people walking over me. It's like a person step on your shoe and don't say sorry, and they continue to keep stepping on your shoe, mashing your shoe foot, and just looking at you in your face and telling you, I'm about to do it again. And then people standing around you see it. You're so modest about it. You don't want to say, hey, nothing. You don't want to speak up because you've been so bamboozled by Christianity. You've been bamboozled. And I know, and I'm not trying to take it in folks' different religion stuff, but you've been bamboozled on so many different levels that you don't even have it in you to step to these people who've been oppressing you, who've oppressed your ancestors, who've colonized your home state. And you don't even say, hey, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm going to stop this today. It's going to take all of us, even if we don't have the artillery to fight these people, just like Ukraine fighting Russia, who has 6,000 nuclear warheads. You still say, I'm going to pick up some stones and some rocks and say, I'm going to stand for something rather than die for anything. I don't understand why we be standing up here crying about it. And you must like being you I'm about to say you must like being done the way that you being done. Don't care about it when something happened to you. Don't say nothing. Just sit there and take it. And that's how I'm supposed to be looking at people.
So, but listen, listen, right? And I learned this just from talking to people out in the streets, because I ask, I be wanting to know why. I always ask people certain questions because, like I say, I was gone from 2006 basically to 2020. I was incarcerated. So I always wanted to people, I said, okay, when they messed up the water, why didn't nobody go? Why didn't y'all shut down the water place down there? This should have been, you know what I'm saying? I always ask these questions. And then you get people that would say the same thing, like, man, I would have been for it, but I don't know nobody else that would have been for it. Then the next person like, man, I'd have been for that, but I don't know nobody else would have been for it. I would have been for it, but I don't know nobody else would have been for it. And it go back to unity. And the reason why they don't know whoever else would have been for it is because we not being active in the community, right? Everybody not been there for everybody else or all other type of things. So there's no unity yet. Now, where I'm going with this. Now, with the Urban Peace Corps, like I told you, one of the things what I'm trying to put together now is you got to start something to start showing people how serious you is, because conversation, we got these conversations forever. So, but you gotta have something to show people, that start showing people like, yeah, they serious. Because when they see you serious, people start stepping out then, you know what I'm saying, looking out their door like, oh, dog ain't playing. Dog ain't playing. Dog on the type of time I want to be on, but I ain't think nobody else was on it. So then somebody else will come out and start coming out. So like to get the unity going, you know what I tell you? I said we're gonna start these block cleanups. We're gonna start these block cleanups as it warm up. We're gonna start doing these block cleanups. And the goal is to get as many people as we can get involved in Flint, so that way we can be covering like 10, 15 blocks in a couple of hours on a day. You know what I mean? We do another 10 to 15 next week and so forth. But you start doing little block cleanups. And in between time while you're doing block cleanups, because imagine you cleaning up somebody's yard, you ain't charged them for it. You just doing their yard for them. They in there chilling. You cleaning up that stuff for them. They come out, man, what you doing? You know, first people gonna want to know what you need. Man, what you doing? What you doing? I just want to let you know, man, I love you. And I think, you know, I think you'll be more comfortable if the yard was better. When people start seeing that type of stuff, them type of moves, it brings up the way you feel about your whole environment. Why you think when you go outside of Flint, you see these communities on how nice it is, why they keep the grass up and keep the grass green and keep the grass cut, and they make sure the streets is plowed and all that stuff. Like when I was staying out in Clio, I get up and go to work, man. You know, I ain't gonna lie. I used to dread having to come through Flint on my way to work, because I'm like, I know they ain't plowed these streets. They could care less about these streets here in Flint, man. Right. So when you start when we ourselves start building that back the community, because like you just said, ain't nobody else gonna do it. We see that. We've been waiting on, we've been voting people in, have been saying what they gonna do for the community, they're gonna bring this back and bring that back. Nothing. We've been knocking on the doors downtown, like, can we please get this? Can we please get that? Can we get a couple crumbs? Nothing. You know what I mean? So it got to be us to start bringing back that sense of community. And that right there raise the unity. But we got to get into them back, you know what I'm saying, back into them streets. Like we've been doing, but we just that start bringing, you know, start getting people out of the mindset like ain't nobody doing nothing. That's how a lot of people feel like, man, they just ain't nobody doing nothing, man. And even though they say, like I just found out, it's 59 groups. How's it 59 groups in Flint? It's 59 different activist groups in Flint alone. 59. Wow. So that's more than enough. Wow. To take over the city and fix the city. I didn't even know we had that many groups. I honestly thought it was, I honestly know the few that I know, because I only see the ones, only certain ones active. Man Up Peacekeepers, Urban Peace Corps, Black Lives Matter Flint, the Nation of Islam. I only see certain groups that really be out doing stuff. You know what I mean? Jalil and all the constant food.
It's only a handful of situations going. I ain't even know it's that many groups. 59, I don't even see that many. I don't even see that many groups going out here doing that type of work.
How is it 59 groups? If it's really 59, and if they say it's what is 59 groups, then we got to make it our goal to get in contact with every single one of them, and everybody, and try to get everybody on the same page, man, and just get on board. That's right. 59 groups. It's more than one person in each group. So that's more than enough people right there. That's 59 plus people right there. That's enough to change the city. You got 2 people there, you got 118. And you got four people, you got 236. You see what I'm saying? The numbers keep doubling as you go. If there's more people in these groups, that's more than enough people to change the city without us begging for something from downtown. Without us begging for something downtown. So what it's gonna take is for people to see it. Because I already told you what the moves are finna start making in March. What's gonna take is just people just gotta start seeing this stuff, and I can guarantee you, people start seeing us move instead of just marching. It'll be a difference. Go ahead, George.
Going to some of what you were saying, I think Stockholm syndrome is really real with some folks. Like they don't know what they don't know, and they rather keep the king that they got than the one they don't know, because the king they got is already horrible. So why put somebody else in that might be worse? So when you making moves and saying, look, we need to get rid of this king, because this king is taking everything and ain't leaving us nothing. You're like, yeah, I'm with it, but who's gonna be next? And then what if we don't? They start getting all these psychological things on why it's not gonna work. And so to me, if you can put an image to it, it's
They
the
gonna get out
perfect
the way.
example of the Wizard of Oz.
They gonna get out the way.
And you know how the Wizard of Oz is so many things that people think is more than what it is, and then you find out behind the curtain.
Was because a lot of
Oh, I'm sorry, computer jumping back here. My bad, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead, George. Not my fault. It got
That was
speedy.
pretty much it. That was pretty much it. Just saying that, folks. Because my personal experience is that with the organization that I have, you know, everything that I was doing, to my understanding and how I saw it, I was doing it for my community, and that ticked a lot of folks off that didn't look like me for no reason. I'll tell you about a story that was told to me. Somebody told me that they had went to one of them little pinky finger events where some of our elite folks go to, and this person,
You want drinking tea?
where the money go, where they go and they break bread and stuff like that on events.
Oh, okay.
So I was told that, hey, George, that a certain person was talking about you like a dog, man, saying that your program was horrible and all this other stuff. And then they said that a little old white lady that had more money and more power than this white man that was talking about me was like, isn't that what we want? Don't we want them doing for themselves? So I don't understand what your problem is with them. This is what was told to me. And that same day when I got that information, I'm shaking hands with this guy, knowing what was told to me about him, and he's saying complete opposite, smiling in my face, making me feel like we can accomplish something together.
Yeah, that's their MO.
Yeah, smiling faces tell lies.
Right, but when my folk that look like me on certain things were like, hey, this is what the information is. I'm in the door. I'm in these meetings. Come on. Folks is like, well, I'll wait till you build the whole house and then I'll come in.
Right.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
That's what I want. That's what I want to hone in on.
Wow.
Sometimes, bro, people be waiting on stuff to get going, and like it's stuff going. It's stuff happening right now. But they want to see you build it all up, put all the work in, got all the backstabbing, stabbed to death, beat down, tore up, tied. They want you to steal. They want you to build it up, and then they walk through the door. It's like
they jump in front of the line.
People don't understand, like, man, bro, like this is a job for all of us. It shouldn't just be a handful of folks out there fighting for you. Because then they be the same motherfuckers, and I'm sorry to use the language because I'm just like maybe I'm on 10, but it be the same people that come back needing your assistance, but wouldn't give a dang about you being out there fighting for they democracy. I'm sorry. It be the same people that will ride past you during a demonstration where somebody was killed that looked like you, only for them to go back to get in trouble, to be reaching out for you to come save them. But you see us out here, you see the situation. Hey, don't say you ain't see it, man. Folks see all that stuff. You don't say you can't say. People see all this stuff going on. It's just that people just don't care. They don't care unless it directly affect them. And we got to get out that mindset. That stuff is so weak because that don't do nothing for the next person. That don't do nothing for stopping this stuff from coming up against us. If we don't do it and deal with it on the front end, and we don't build and take the time to roll up our sleeves and get engaged now when we need it, this stuff should have been dealt with a long time ago, i.e. the Voting Act. We still got to recertify every 25 years. That would be crazy for us to sit up here and recertify as the only group of people to recertify to be able and eligible to vote every 25 years. We got black senators. We got black House representatives. You got every level of the game in there. But we still ain't addressed and got them small wins. And that's a large win. But folks want to wait until, we get a black president in there to change it. Man, get out of here, man. You get a black president in there, dog, did more for other groups than he did for you. So don't, I'm saying, I don't be having, I'm at the wit end with folks and saying, hey, we got to wait until somebody dies, for us to get our act together. I'm sick of that. And then people who out there, I understand what Martin Luther King felt like when he was sitting in Birmingham jail. when he's sitting there and all them black pastors and turned their back on, ain't nobody come get him. Y'all ain't sorry. I'm just saying, like, come on, man. Dog on the front
That's
line.
right.
You
That's
don't
right.
come out. You don't come out to support. You don't even come out to get that brother out the mix, protect him, make sure he's straight, and then you
And he's
see what
fighting for
happens.
y'all.
No, I'm just saying. No, we so off. And no, that if that was any other group of people, that wouldn't
That's
happen.
right. That's right.
That wouldn't be the case. It wouldn't be the case. It wouldn't be the case. I'm not. I ain't.
That's
I
right.
don't. That ain't no. There's no justifying that at all. We got people that be in there that's in these positions downtown. We got people. We got a black mayor. Ask this man how much has he shelled out towards the black community or black organizations that's doing work that's been on the ground that he knows has been on the ground. How is he activating them people? How
Well,
is
he can't spend no money on. He can't
how is
spend
he
no money on
changing
us
the
because
course?
he got
How
to
is he
spend it on his
changing the
daughter's
course for
weddings and
black
stuff.
people in this community if
Right.
he ain't putting no resources behind it? So when I'm saying the ideology of people, I'm talking about us. And this is a family conversation. I'm not ragging on us. I'm not bagging on us or nothing. This is stuff that I would say to us, right in front of our faces. It's the thing of saying, bro, we gotta tighten up. We don't own no gas stations or corner stores in our community. We steady want to be running around here acting like we Democrats. You fools probably don't even understand what them Democrats represents. All it is a switch up on you, a bunch of Dixiecrats. And they want to play it like they level the playing field for you, but they really not. They got you all up in arms about coming to vote and do nothing for you. And you still run down there. They come to the same situation, come to the church. These pastors still get the congregation ready, right? People, all their elders go vote for these same old folks and they ain't giving a damn about you. And you still gonna go ahead and take your monkey ass down there and think that they gonna change some stuff. Nothing changes, man. Like, stop doing that stuff. Get in the mindset of saying, like,
Come
bro,
on now.
we gotta be better than this. I'm not gonna play this game with y'all. I'm not upset. When folks is in power, they in power. It's a reason why they in power. And everybody in the capitalistic world, you need the working class, which is the folks on the ground, the hourly workers. And then you got people who sitting up here who make the money off of you, right? So it's like, bro, man, it's enough of just sitting up here placating the problems that's in the black community. It's enough making excuses for our people in leadership who ain't doing nothing for us. It's enough for sitting up here trying to uphold a nation of people who sometimes don't even want you to uphold them. It's time out for that. We're gonna get to the point where we just gonna be living individually. At the end of the day, we all gonna perish. I'm you know what I'm saying? Just like when Malcolm came back from Mecca. I was like so over this stuff. Man, I'm sitting up here so over this stuff. I mean, like drained out, and refresh, come back, and you see this stuff for what it is. And so I don't want us to sit up here and even make no excuse no more. We ain't doing nothing to change our circumstances that's really changed our circumstance.
Go ahead. Go.
Can I ask some? So, Dewan, with all that said, is there a way that no, not is there a way because we can't. How about we challenge our current political system and have them talk and sit down and answer questions, have them come to a town hall on our terms based on what it is that we are looking for and seeing what answers they give us. So, so we can get a better understanding on how certain things move. So the money that's out here, does he really have the power to put it somewhere? And it's a rhetorical question, so I don't want you to answer it now. Some stuff we know he can, some stuff we don't know. So we can understand the structure. So we can understand the structure from his lips. And even from Isaiah, with the community foundation, asking him, how does that work? How do we get more involved? And so on and so forth. Many people that have positions, what is it that we need to do in order to get in line for them to do what it is that we say we feel they're not doing?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
would that
And
look?
that's good. That's good diplomacy. I give you that. I say, yeah, we should definitely sit them folks down, have a real conversation with them again, and say, hey, listen, man, what can we do to really make a real change and a difference here in our community? Because we want our babies to have a future. You know,
I
we
think
want them to really.
I'm saying more to diplomacy. I'm saying like within 24 hours of the conversation, we're gonna have this person that know how to write this paperwork up. We got this person that have credentials in this. We have these things right here. And how do we make this stuff work now so the people that live in this community can be directly affected by the funding that comes to this community? We are the county seat. We're the county chair. All money, all things come to Flint, and then it gets pushed abroad. We have also a concept of understanding of life that most don't have. We have $1 billion organization, which is the Mott Foundation and everything associated with it downtown. And then we have systemic and crippling deprived economics right down the street. So there are things that can be done within 24 hours in order to change circumstances, because we have the fiduciaries that feed the county, and we have the people that know how to do things, and people that have done the research and the time and put in the work to be able to use the money correctly. So how we need to, I believe we need to get conversations that are going to lead to progress instead of more conversations. Like, hey, so there's $100,000 available, or there's $2 million available. We have a plan, and if we don't, we can have a plan within 24 hours to do it, and then we already have our own fiduciaries that haven't messed up money that can get it done.
What it is? Well, for one, everyone. I don't know if we have anybody in office or on council right now that care enough to even have those conversations. That's I'm gonna say that now with who we dealing with council now, and because of that, I was deterred on doing any more voting when it came to council, anything going on. But I'm gonna say this because Jonell Allen Bay at the Nation Outside program that I attended, he made a point that kind of made me think like, man, that might actually work that way, and I would vote if we did it this way. And what he was saying was, no more politicians. We don't vote. We're not looking to put. We shouldn't be looking to put no more politicians in them seats. Because when you put a politician up there, they going up there to play them political games and play with the money, and they can be bought and all that crazy stuff. So what we really need, if we want to talk about being able to change things at a city council and that aspect, or how to get money back to the community, what's really gonna have to happen is the community gonna have to have somebody that we know is for the community. We already know they heart for the community because they've been in the community, moving for the community, doing.
We already got him. He's DeJuan Robinson. We on the line with. So
look,
now
this
what?
I'm finna
Now what's
say.
next?
Here go my point.
What's next?
This my point I'm finna say, right? So say you got a DeJuan Robinson, you decide, everybody decide like, look, the whole community, like, we finna stand behind him. And for DeJuan, what he would do is, whenever something is going on, he don't make his discussion with the council. He come back, hold his own meeting with the community. Be like, this was on the table, this was going on, this was available. How y'all want to deal with it? And then DeJuan, like, so our next council meeting, I need half of the community to come out and be up there because we finna debone them and make them do this for us. You see what I'm saying? That's what we need. That's the only way we're gonna get changed that way. That's what I think. That's the change that barring us just going downtown and starting knocking heads off and stuff like that. That's the only other way I can see us really seeing any type of change. If we putting somebody in there that's in the city, in the community, like you said, like DeJuan, in the community, we know gonna fight for the community, and then the community get behind that person and be like, look. And that person just coming back with all the information to the community. Like, look, this was on the table. This was going on. This was available. This is what they fighting for. This is what they fighting against. You know what I'm saying? So I need y'all for this. I need y'all to make this move. I need y'all to make that move. And the whole community come together and be a force. And he had a voice, and the community should be the force behind his voice. That's the only way we're going to get change up in council. Because right now we having them
Well,
talking to them.
well, I'm saying go around them and go straight to the neck of where the money is, because the council doesn't necessarily. There's certain things that they don't have their hands in, and then in my opinion, they make decisions based on whoever is greasing the wheels the most when it comes to who's investing in the community the most. And we all know that there are only a few that have the ability to continually invest in Flint.
Right.
So as far as me, I feel like the community, I'm with you. We have a figurehead, but we also have a system to where, okay, you want to try to knock the wine down, it's 10, 15, 100. We're a unit. It's not going to happen. I don't care what you say. He can have 4 flat tires going backwards down the street. We're not going to turn him out. You know, so it's not going to happen. And we got to get our churches and our leaders to get on a different page. We need the bodies, but we don't need the subtle plays that some of them make when it talks about making deals, because they don't make deals based on good business. They make it on their business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So good business is the business that's going to give this city the future that everybody talks about it having. So whatever Ridgeway White is looking for, whatever Neely is looking for, based on their voices and what they came out their mouth. If we all looking for the same future, then they need to get at the table. So us that are here, that live here, that deal with all of the threats of violence, that deal with all of the community issues, that I live right off by Eisenhower School and Gordon Corona. I'm in Flint. Even though things happen, I ain't left. So I'm here. I deal with the everyday struggles of being a person here, but I'm also putting into my community so I can get out of my community. But it seems like there's a blockage. So I'm saying that we need to go to those that say they have the resources to see how we make those investments in order to get a return on them for the community. If that makes any sense.
I do.
And the one look like I done lost you. I done took you off. You like I ain't listening no more.
No, I'm sorry, man. I'm trying to multitask. Now I was hearing what I hear what you're saying.
Is it making any sense though?
That make all the perfect sense. Right? What we saying, it makes sense. I don't want us to get in the mindset of we're not making sense, because we are. I'm just saying that we have to really make moves on stuff. So it starts with us as people. Whether we decide to put people into leadership, that's us. That's us decision. Meaning that as a body of people, man, as a nation, that we have to make room for us to make those decisions to say we want these people to lead. And then this is the accountability piece that goes into it, right? This is objective that we want to see quarterly, 6 months, and a year in our community, right? And then call these folks to the table every quarter, every half of the year, so they can report out. And then that way it's a more consensus of how we moving forward together. We ain't just being, just walking blind. And we ain't just letting you just work how you want to work, and you ain't getting back with us and reporting to us, because we are the employer. As the people, we are an employer. We have to exercise those options. We got to make sure we stand strong on that. Now, if you jacking off and messing up and you're in that position, we're gonna pull you out of there, right? And we're gonna sit you on the sideline because you don't need to be there. And then we need to drop squad you so you understand what the heck been going on, why you missing the mark. You ain't just leaving them out there to dry, but you're building with them. That's where we got to be as people. That's where I see us as community. That's where we got to have a real secure plan. We ain't going off that master plan that's developed by the Mots. We ain't going off of that. That's y'all plan. And we ain't buying into that anyway. The fact of the matter is we got to have a community initiative for a plan that we want to decide where it's public safety, entrepreneurship, how we buying up, taking adverse possession for these properties, reinvest in our neighborhoods, get downtown, reinvesting into the north side, the east side, the south side too, right? How are we saying, and what guide are we working from?
So the one for all of that you're saying,
or we just moving aimlessly out here.
So what you saying? What kind of money needs to be put at the table for these things to happen? Is it 5 million? Is it 10 million? What needs to happen in order for us to be able to collectively start on this process to getting where we see a better Flint from our perspective?
I think I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna interject this because I gotta go in a minute. So what I was saying was, it don't matter how much money we conjure up between a group of people, if we can't get the mass of Flint to buy in to what we trying to do, if we can't get the mindsets, we can't get them to buy in, then we just gonna be another one of the groups of black men that made some moves, and didn't nothing much come from it because we didn't have the whole community riding with it. Because anything we do, if we do anything, we start to begin to be successful apart from the white folks. They're gonna attack you. They're gonna bring all the force they got, and if we don't have our community behind us, then we don't even really have a stance in that. And so I'll say the only one way to get the community, what people do when it's time for when they running for some type of seat, when they running for some type of position, they go out into the community and they start mingling with the community folk and get the community to buy in to what they talking about. So instead, we kind of do that. We kind of do our bidding that way, not lying to them like politicians did, but actually, like I say, actually showing up in the communities. We have to find ways to start. Everybody got ideas. They're all great ideas. All I'm saying is one of my ideas, the first idea that I think would be beneficial, like I say, would be to start showing the community that we care by something as simple as just cleaning up the community first. At the same time, while we're cleaning up the community, we start doing stuff for the community. Older women, if they need our elders, women and men, they need groceries from the grocery store. We line up people that can make them runs for them. The children coming from bus stops, we make sure we find ways to
All
make
that's
sure
going to
they
take money,
safe
though.
and make it home.
All that's going to take money. All that's going to take money. And I'm
Not
saying
at first, it don't.
there's money in this city. There's money
But
in
no,
these
it is, and you're
coffers.
right. But what
And
I'm saying, at first, it
I'm saying
don't.
like this. I'm not going to give other people enough so much credit to destroy what we can do. And then I'm saying if we say we need $20 million in order to, in 5 years, is going to increase the value of everything in Flint that we touch by tenfold. Just saying that. And then other people are going to want to invest, but they can't directly invest unless they get along with those that have seeded it, which would be our collective, the folks that got involved. Instead of us scattering the things that we've done, and then not anybody can come and take over. My thing is trying to find a binding agent, because the people, regardless of how much we like or dislike folk, they've been living here just as long as we have. Indirectly or directly. Their money been living here, or their name has been living here. The thing is, maybe they need a mindset recheck to understand how to live together with what we going with. Because I'm saying money is here. They have it. They sitting on it. And they're supposed to federally get this money out to where it's supposed to go. Now I'm saying there needs to be a $20 million stack put to the side for the things that are needed based on whatever programs and things that DeJuan as leadership is talking about. I'm saying those things that shouldn't even be a hypothetical. That should be something that happens based on how much the structure of the city is, how much money comes through this city, how the pipelines from all different types of industry goes here. We have General Motors, which is still founded and running here. That money and tax money comes here. There's so many foundations, so many different companies that are here on the low, that if they want to see see the rest of this time period turn into something great, then y'all need to run that money so we can invest it into our community to get the results. And once you see the results, you're going to want to invest more, because the tide is going to rise all of the boat.
Yeah, you're right. I gotta run. Rodney.
Hey,
Rodney still there?
yeah, I'm still here with Garrett.
You available tomorrow? I'm gonna try to be at the building around 4. You gonna be there tomorrow?
Yeah, if you need, whenever you need me,
Yeah,
bro.
I'll be here
Yeah,
tomorrow.
because I wanted to sit down and go over some things. We're gonna sit down and go over some things, man. But we finna start putting in motion. I appreciate it, George. Appreciate the conversation. I'm gonna make it to next Wednesday. I will be back at the Southwestern thing with y'all. I will be back next Wednesday with y'all. I see you running in the gym with them boys on the day. Well, I'll be back next
Yeah,
Wednesday.
they wore me out. I didn't even think I had it. You know, I knew I had the juice, but you know what I'm saying? I felt good to get back out there. I ain't run in about 10 years. So just to be able to do that. And you know, the kids, they was really excited about it. I appreciate you, Brother George, for George sparked that off, man, offering $20, man. I said, let me get up in here too. And then, man, let me go ahead and let me grease my palms, man, try to get this dub.
Yeah.
Nah, but man, big shout out to all the young soldiers and our princesses at the SWA Southwestern. They're a good group, man. I had a good time, George, man. I appreciate you coming out, you know, even building out with us.
I appreciate you.
I see you tomorrow at 4, DeJuan. Rodney, George, be blessed, bro.
Okay. Likewise, my brother. He's
Okay.
there too.
Okay. Yeah, man. I think this was a good conversation. We gotta put a plan of action for us. And we ain't waiting on nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Bang.
This is where we at and where we gotta be. So I mean, this is our time. This is our time.
Well, I'm putting it out there that a seed money of $20 million needs to come from somewhere, whether it's from the city, somewhere in the city, somebody that's been sitting on it, or whether it be from Elon Musk, it needs to be unrestricted $20 million put in the hands of black men to show you how we gonna make it work. Period, point blank. When I was in my process before the barriers got in front, I was working on bringing over $100 million worth of revenue into the city based on veterans issues and based on the opioid crisis. But a lot of different things, and I may talk about those things later on, but I ain't saying nothing that I haven't personally tried to do and know that what a seed money can do. And I did all these things that I was working on doing without having any seed money, just knowing folks and saying, hey, let's connect.
Yeah.
And I know the money's out there. That's why I'm saying 20, just 20. Look, what some people do, wealthy people, they have like $30 million that they get just to say that you in the group. If you ain't got 30, if you ain't got an endowment of $30 million, you ain't even wealthy. And that's just when you turn 18 or 25 or something like that.
You're right.
And if you don't know how to grow it, then you ain't getting no more. But you still never be broke because your family is super wealthy.
Right.
So the money's there. And look, they looking at us, seeing us scratch the wall and climb, but don't want to give no assistance, then shame on you. Because when we get up top,
dog food, I ain't got no money to waste.
We ain't gonna have no space for you when we get to the top.
Come on now. Come on now. It's bad. You know what? It's a beauty in being at the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, we ain't got nothing to do but look up. We ain't got no choice but to look up. All we got is look up. You know,
that's right.
The thing is, when we stand up, we become strong.
20 million.
20 million.
That's just the start. That's just the start. And guess what? We'll probably flip that and turn that into 100 million within 5 years with investment in our city, legal investment.
I like that type of passion and those type of plans. That's the type of energy that, you know, we'll get behind. That's what we have to be. It's a mindset of seeing it and really envisioning that, seeing us turn that into that, right? And then us really actualizing and it tangibly taking place. So,
yeah. And PTAC, I like to speak on. People need to go out and go to PTAC, PTAC, Flint, Michigan, and learn how to do government contracting. The government has hundreds of billions of dollars in a budget every year. They buy toilet paper, toothbrushes, underwear. They buy everything from bullets, beans, and everything else. If you learn how to do contracting with the government, whether you're a custodian or you're a carpenter or electrician, and you learn that, then you'll turn your revenue multiples up higher. And there are people here that are doing it. I don't want to say his name wrong, but I'm gonna try to get with him so we can sit down with him and he can talk about it, because he's doing business all over the country because he's doing government work. He's and knows how to do it proficiently. And then also I want to say we got brothers here that have DOT certs, so they can work on these expressways and things of that nature, but they're not getting the opportunities that's needed, or they don't get the seed money in order to help because the banks aren't doing what they need to do in order to leverage the contracts that they have. And that stuff needs to change, because a high tide raises all ships. So when you help the people that already put the work in and they just need a little assistance, then your revenue is going to quadruple because you have somebody that has the drive to make it work.
That's right. That's right, man. That is right.
20 million.
Putting those dollars behind the work. That's putting those dollars behind the work. We ain't trying to create some stuff. We ain't remixing. Put the dollars behind the work, and you'll get results.
20 million.
I can see it. I can see the 20 million right now.
Good information. Good information.
Yeah. No, definitely, man. I appreciate, man. I appreciate y'all, brothers. You know what I'm saying? More than I can say. Continue to be out there and fighting in the struggle until I can't breathe no more.
Oh, that's right.
Hopefully we ain't talking about this same shit in the next 10 years. I'm just being honest.
See?
But I'm definitely locking in with y'all. So Brother George, Brother Rodney, Brother Hugh, Brother Darius, man, I appreciate y'all dedicating and commitment to continue to keep working. Appreciate Brother Philip, Brother Chris, Brother Tommy, Brother Mickey, Brother Johnny.
Read over some of the comments that they said.
Okay.
Because I can't see them.
So one of them for sure, man. Brother D said, man, black man is guy, so we got to give reverence to that. That's first and foremost.
That's right.
And then Brother Johnny Washington said, I appreciate the holler, of course. Appreciate you for joining us, Brother Johnny. Mrs. Bada said, who can we show love here to one another? You know, we want to show love to one another for sure. Brother Tommy Robinson stated the Democrats destroyed Flint. I have to say he's on to something. He's absolutely right about that. We have become so dependent on Democrats as if they're the saviors, and we didn't went to sleep. Once again, now the Democrats ain't did nothing for the community. They really just be giving a lot of lip service. So Democrats are getting hit up. Chris said, we need to go to the city council to bring a resolution on behalf of what y'all want to get this money. You're absolutely right. He also stated about the grocery store, because the grocery store is the biggest thing in the community that's been doing the conversations, right? I think the grocery store heads are looking for $600,000. So that way they can acquire the Flint Food Market.
So what would $20 million do? It'll help start the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
So $20 million.
What's that help start the grocery store? You're right.
Because 600,000 can come out of that 20 million to seed these programs that other black men are doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Brother Phil said, make sure there's direct and clear consequences for people not doing right, and no loopholes, right? This is part of why the state people keep getting away with stuff and finding a way back and mixing other ways. So they just remixing and re-rocking stuff. Then at the end, we got y'all should buy some 18-wheelers and get them contracts with General Motors. Chris, be on some stuff. That sounds like a good idea. We need
What
Okay.
would $20 million do? Buy a fleet of 18 wheelers.
yeah. I like that.
I like that too.
Definitely. We need to talk about black business. Maybe that next conversation will be black business.
Right. And what the seed of $20 million do, and how much of a return it'll bring for those that are putting in the work
Mm-hmm.
and the community around them.
Mm-hmm.
Because for every black man, there's at least 10 people attached to him.
Yep. Can we get you all, everybody who is left on the line, if you can like and subscribe to the channel? And of course, we appreciate all your feedback and information that you'd like to share with us. We just want to always stay connected. So if you do that for us, we greatly appreciate it. You get all the updates that come down. Anytime we come on the line, you'll be notified. And so we welcome all your knowledge, your talent. Y'all make sure y'all keep tapping in, and let's keep having the conversations, but driven by solutions. All right. Yeah. Any last words, Brother Grundy?
I appreciate you allowing me to be on the platform. I appreciate the conversation with the bros.
No
And
problem.
if we want to work it out, we will work it out. So let's work it out.
That's respect. Any last words, Brother Rodney?
Hey man, just enjoying y'all conversation, enjoying y'all brilliancy, man. And every time we come together, man, I learn something new, and just thanking, God for y'all, man.
That's real.
And I'm ready to rock, man. I'm ready to rock. So
That's real talk. Real talk, man. I echo those same sentiments. I appreciate y'all, man, for doing the work and being there and showing up. I'm saying, to be honest, man, out of 100 people, it'd probably be 10 strong.
that's all right.
Probably lower than that.
I'd
So
rather have 10 strong and solid than 100 weak.
Huh?
I'd rather have 10 solid than 100 weak.
Come on, for real, man. Come
Real
on,
talk,
man. What? We right. I'd rather have 10 straight warriors going into the battlefield than 100 weak ass soldiers. I'm saying,
Somebody made a profound statement yesterday on wasn't we on Zoom yesterday or something? And they said it ain't about the quantity, it's about the quality.
That's right.
Out of them 10, we might have one, possibly, hopefully more than that take us to a whole nother level, and that's holding a deck, opposed to 100 out of 100. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's about the quality of people, not the quantity. And sometimes, you know what I'm talking about? Sometimes it's about the quality of people, not the quantity. Of course, numbers is power.
No, you're absolutely right.
But
you're absolutely right. That's the quality. And so, yeah, we can work on building better quality. Then that's going to spew out, and we'll have more quality members. And at the end of the day, we just need to round up the cream of the crop to go ahead and get the base activated.
And see, man, all this planning and preparation, man, is good, man. Because when the weather break, I'm ready to, you know what I'm saying? We should be ready to hit the ground running, man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Come on.
Because we prepping for it, man. So I'm looking forward to what's gonna manifest this summer, man.
Come on now.
Yeah. Real talk, man.
I love it. All right. Well, I love it, man. I think we own to something. Let's keep
man.
Let's keep
I'm gonna play my lane, man. Go ahead.
I was just saying, let's keep this type of energy going.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm planning on, man, staying in my lane, and I'm pretty much be out here with these hood in the streets anyway for the most part. But that would give me a real reason to be out here. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes,
and I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man.
To to waking these motherfuckers up.
Come on.
Excuse my friend.
That's right, man. Wake these motherfuckers up because you ain't lying. They been asleep for a long time. You hear me?
Yeah, man. We've been asleep, man.
We've been asleep and we've been having some good sleep. You should be well rested for the fight.
Hey,
That's right. That's right.
ain't nothing wrong with being in the streets and having the streets ready, because guess what? People understand based on how. Just take the music game. Think of Death Row. Think of No
Right.
Limit. Think of the Wu-Tang Clan. These are folks
Right.
that showed you how success looked raw and
From the
uncut.
streets.
Come on now. Come
From
on.
the street.
From the
Yeah.
street. And now guess what? Now the Death Row is back in the hands of Snoop.
Mhm.
If his mind on right, that company is going to be worth $2-3 billion in the next 4 years.
Oh yeah, it's already got history. You gotta do is come in, put some classic music down, incorporate some of the history of it, and you be dope with it.
So translate that to Flint. We still here. We've been knocked down for a minute, but we still here. So you give us the right investment, we gonna turn that into something because we already got history.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And see Snoop on that too, man. You know, these brothers, man, now, as we were saying, man, ain't about self. They looking at creating generational wealth, man, for us all. You know, he can do anything he want to. His kids can do anything he want to. So, back in the day, motherfuckers was just all about me, and I got this, I got that, I can do this, I got this kind of job, whoop-de-whoop. But now motherfuckers just talk about us, man, and that's what it's all about, is us, man. It ain't about me. It's about our kids, our grandkids, and further on, man.
Come on, man.
I just hope I can see something out this shit before I die. You know.
Real talk.
You
want to see something. You want to see this. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to just be saying like we just gotta. We ain't gonna see none of this stuff in our lifetime. What?
But we could be the motherfuckers who got it started. We could go down in history as the motherfuckers who got the ball rolling. We had that chance.
Got the ball rolling and was able to see it play out.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
20 million.
That's stuck in my head now. 20 million.
I'm speaking it into existence.
I ain't get $20 million.
That's right, brother.
Look,
so we gotta stay focused.
When you could go on certain streets and certain houses, and the houses were full of money.
Right.
So it ain't nothing but a thing. Money has been all over the place. It's just y'all got to direct it the right way. If you still got it like that, look. DeJuan Robinson is a responsible black man that is doing. He's in your face all the time. You see, he ain't hiding from nothing.
Right.
What are you talking about? He's as transparent can get.
I just treat people how I expect us to be treated. Like we should be above board, and if we can't complete something, then we say, hey, I can't get it done. I'm gonna fall short, right? Or you know what I'm saying, or you seek to go ahead and find a solution. So we all lean off each other.
That's right.
We all build off each other, and if we got good quality folks around, man, we're gonna be all right.
So what would you do? In a couple words, not specifically what would you do, but what would you do with a seed of $20 million to help the causes that you got going on, DeJuan?
I would start first and foremost with really putting that into education for us as people. You know what I'm saying? We have to be educated, and I'm talking about not just the education that they provide from the institution, but we have to be educated about life, about who we are, and really kind of getting us into that mindset to be able to break those chains that we've been under. You got to know how to fight the enemy, and a lot of times you got to know what was done to you. So we can educate each other first and get that foremost. That would be ideal. And then we also got to address folks' needs. People got to live. People got to eat. You got to meet them on the basic level. You can't just be talking about all these grandiose ideas and I ain't eating, right? I'm hungry, right? I don't got no opportunities. I'm trying to make it out here, right? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard for me to see the people. You got to invest. You got to make sure folks got foundations. If folks got, some active income coming in on a regular, right? And they're able to go ahead and put their time in, their civic duty, and then they taking care of their families, right? They be in everything need them to be. They not saying it. It's in action, right? They're gonna be moving differently, and it's gonna inspire folks that we all around. I know it inspired my homeboys when they be seeing this stuff, they be inspired, right? And if they ain't doing a whole bunch of other stuff, they still be like, man, you know what? I got to get my stuff together, right? Because one day I got to tighten up. But hopefully we want to say, hey, listen, that today is the day. But you got to be able to go ahead and inspire each other. So, and you have to be in the right mindset. Then also you have to have your situation together so you can inspire folks, right? So we gotta be working on that level first. Build our foundation, right off education. We got our economics, and then we addressing our public food prices, right? Because of course we still went through a water crisis. People still not have been made whole. People still need mental and physical health. We got to get that. The first part of being an activist is being alive. So folks got to be in a healthy mindset, whether that be in getting them in good health, maybe eating right, cultivating farms where we got our own food, right? We creating these type of avenues. Those type of things kind of spin out from a greater vision. So we can address our public health, build some economics for our sector. Now we got some economic drivers for this area. And then at the same time, we educated from the culture. We locked in as a village. Everything is tied into one. So your success is my success. So if I'm working on behalf of this nation, I know that I'm advancing, but everybody else in this mix is advancing too. So everybody tied in. So that becomes like we off each other. We tied at the hip. That's how we have to start locking this stuff in with one another.
That's right.
Because if I see Brother Rodney doing well and he's looking good and he got his situation going, you know what I'm saying, and he out there working with the young people and stuff. Like I'm empowered by that. Like, man, okay, I'm getting my stuff getting. I'm grinding, I'm working, right? We both eating, yeah, we all eating, right? Those are the things that inspires a team. And so that's just like even thinking about when we was back out in the streets, like when we was eating in the streets, everybody was doing what they wanted. Everybody, it was a ball, right? But this time we just trying to get into the mindset of setting ourselves up for life. We don't want the short-term stuff. We don't want the fast money. We don't want the I'm on today and off tomorrow. We tired of that. We want to be solidified. We got some investments in place. We know that we got residual income. We did a co-op together, whether it be the grocery store, whether it be a flea market, whatever the case may be. We got a co-op, so we getting residual income in, right? And then also we putting out product and services. So I would say with $20 million, I would allocate that towards my first thing would be education, secondly, economics, third, public health, and then fourth, which is dictating help and assist. All those three components will impact our public safety. See what I'm saying? When folks making money, man, they ain't got time to be messing up. You trust me. I see my homeboy out there, they be out there working, they ain't got time to be out there getting drugged. You know what I'm saying? Bust a sale and all that, potentially go back. They ain't thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? They trying to get on, they trying to move forward. You know what I'm saying? They busy. They on the grind. They come back home, they gotta take care of their children. So they don't have idle time because either they putting in work, of course, they taking care of themselves and their families, and then they giving back to their community. So they ain't got time to waste. And that's how we have to occupy our times. Where we focusing in, every minute is for the purpose. We so far behind, every second counts. And we lose a second and we getting farther behind.
If I could add to that, if I was over like 5 million of that 20, I would make a collective for business owners, for Black male business owners and Black women business owners, a collective to where it'll be matching funds up until a certain amount for and have a some type of coalition that helps them to help each other to have a inner structured situation to where they're doing business with each other to keep their businesses going and have the funding and financing to grow from one space and then expand at their pace of growth.
Yeah, that's some strong efforts in our economics. We got to have economic base behind us. We got to have our own money flow. We got to have our own trails. We got to have our own industries. So you have to put money to the side. And then we also like talking about 5 minutes toward Black empowerment or Black business. And then a portion of that is seed money for our young entrepreneurs coming up, where we actually give them education, give them accelerators, really have spaces for them to really get a business plan, learn the breakdown, practices of taxes, understanding how to build your credit, get those things going for them early. So now they got that rolling, and then
There'll be interns for the black business.
They got some seed money for them for their business, right? So you didn't give them the training, and then you gave them money on top of it.
Right. There'll be interns for the black businesses, and then they earn a stipend, or they earn some type of graduation stipend for once they finish their internship in order to start their business.
Right. Right.
Hey, check this out, man. I know this, man. Seeing, and I heard y'all speaking on it earlier, man. Seeing them Ukrainians, man, that shit just motivate me and inspire me. I have so much respect for them. How they didn't run like some little broads.
Right.
You know, they put their women on. And I was watching the news yesterday. It was about a Ukrainian college student here over in Flint. They had her on the news. She don't have any family here.
Mm-hmm.
But back in Ukraine is her mother, her father, and her little brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they sent her mama on, but the brother, the father and the brother stayed, and the brother wasn't nothing but 13 years old, but he fighting and standing. You know what I'm saying? So that's so much inspiration to me personally, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's mind blowing, really. That should give us so much inspiration as black folks, man. You know what I'm saying? But the flip side too is what I hear how they playing black people over there who trying to cross over. You know, they ain't letting the black people. You know, that's the bitter take. You know, the bitter side of it. You know what I'm saying? But the inspiration of them just standing and holding their own and dying for what you believe, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, man. You know, and you dying for the right cause, man, to defend your people, man. And I believe as a man, I'd rather die on my feet than on my goddamn knees, man.
Man, real talk. Real talk.
All bullshit to the side, man.
The only thing that I took issue with Ukraine's is how they was treating the black Kenyan students. I didn't like that.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
I do like the fight in them. Yeah, I do think that's resilient. That's resilience right there. Now he's saying that we gonna stand here even if we outnumbered and outgunned. We gonna fight. That's deep. But I don't respect them how they did the black people, and we got a problem with that. So, and you know they're gonna get checked for that one. So I mean, it's one thing to be doing and fighting on behalf of the country, but it's another thing to continue to uphold racism.
Hey,
we ain't playing that. You can't be in a situation like the situation they in and still try to be racist to folks, you know, who over there educate themselves. Man, that shit is crazy.
We'll fight with you. You know, we'll stand there with you.
We would have stood up with you, but now we ain't. We standing up on that.
But then y'all don't, you know, do us like that, man. Y'all just, in a sense, like the rest of them.
Yeah.
You know,
you lost me.
That's the bitter part, you know what I'm saying? But the way they uniting, man, and standing, man, that's awesome, man.
Mm-hmm. No, they on one. More power to them.
They definitely on one.
But I do see Putin. Putin is like Putin been moving in on them areas for the longest. He's been moving in on them areas for the past since he got in, in 2012. Before even when he was a prime minister, they were moving in on Georgia. So the thing is, you know what I'm saying, he just doing what they've known to do all their life. You know, just take what they want, kill, lie, right, steal. Yeah. That's what that is.
And he definitely ain't no damn dummy, man. That guy, his background go with the KGB.
Yeah, he was a young KBG.
He slide, man.
You know, he come up into that type of stuff. So, you know, he trying to rewrite history. You know, when the Soviet Union went down, you know, he trying to revive that. And so that's just like I would say I'm trying to revive the kingdom of Kush. You see what I'm saying? Cause we were strong warriors. We were strong warriors. That's the lineage we come from. Strong warriors who had all the resources. Right, we was kings of our areas. We was mobbing like that. Had an economic base out this world because Africa is super rich. So it's a thing of reviving that. Now, I can understand where Putin is on that level as it relates to reviving
Right.
and you know, and really kind of taking back some of the things that they felt that they lost. So I can understand that. They want the Chris said they want them blacks to stay and defend the country. Them blacks ain't thinking about their country. That's not their country. They ain't thinking about Ukraine. They trying to get back to Kenya. Hey, listen, I was going to school here.
And then you don't force us. Let us do it on our own. And maybe we will. Some of us just might.
Nah, this ain't our war. That ain't our war, bro. It ain't our war. Let Putin and Zelensky do that. That's their stuff, man. Y'all do that. We got to take care of Africa. That's what we doing is just really getting our education going so we can come back as a superpower. We ain't thinking about none of this stuff going on with the EU, with NATO. None of that. Ain't got nothing to do with that.
When Americans are when United States Americans are in other countries and a conflict starts, they start giving out plane tickets and letting people fly back home because that fight is not the United States of American citizens' fight. And if we do fight, we send troops in order to support. A civilian is not a troop. A civilian ain't supposed to stand up for nothing but what they know. And if they know school, that's what they there for, school. Right. Let me go home. And if the government of Kenya said, look, we love how you allow us to come there and we trade and we do business together, we're going to send 1,000 troops. We're going to send some weapons. Then let that be. But don't turn something into something it shouldn't be.
Right.
Mm-hmm. No, I would. What I'm saying is,
no, not you. I'm saying how they did it.
Yeah. Now, what I'm saying is, yeah, that ain't our bag, man. You know, and I guarantee you, if it was friction in Kenya and Uganda, you know, none of them would have showed up. So, my thing is, man, you know what? Let them go.
All been ready for the border.
Man, what? Man, they ain't send no missiles in, none of that. Drop it in. Indigent packs, nothing. But I would say, man, for us, man, you know, let them settle that dispute. You know what I'm saying? We stand by and stand back. We on our team. We developing a plan of action how we strengthen Africans all around the world. And, you know, from the islands to Americas to the continent. We just got to be stronger with us because that's a force. And get our army and military forces strong. We got to be focusing in on what matters to us. We always just like, don't be like America, always trying to go save everybody, but you can't even do things right in your own country.
Can't say your own.
So silly. The people out overseas laugh and just laugh. They think this is really ridiculous. You know, Putin made a comment about that, how George Floyd got killed, and you know, America is in a frenzy. So they watch this stuff. If we can't end structure and systemic racism over here.
Ain't got our own shit together.
But we gonna go fight some stuff over there and try to help them people over there. Man, get y'all silly selves out of here. All of them, Joe, all that stuff. Kamala, y'all just look crazy. We ain't respecting that. That's retarded. I mean, we got to be honest with self. Let's take care of home first. Let's take care of what we got going on over here. Let me clean up my house first before I try to go pick up trash and grab blank. What the fuck?
Right.
What the heck are you doing, bro? I'm saying we got all type of trash and blight over here. We need help over here. We need help over here.
$20 million.
$20 million, man. Let's go find us 20 million, George. We need 20 million right now.
If we ain't gotta find it, it's gonna find us. Watch it, it's gonna knock on the door.
I believe that. I receive that.
Hey, Brother Grundy.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, what's up, Brother Grundy? I'm looking like All this time, I didn't know that was you, brother.
Man, it's just me,
Okay,
the humble Flint servant.
that's right.
Mhm.
That's right, Ken. That's right, brother.
Compatibility just by itself can be a trap. Because first off, you can be
Okay, well, I'm finna wind it down, fellas. If we all, set for the night. And Dewan, I'll see y'all tomorrow, man.
Okay. All right. See you tomorrow, Brody. All right,
Yeah,
man.
I'm up here with DeWine up here at this office, man. He done put a cot out. I think he's trying to get me to stay up here with him,
I
like this.
started to slide in there too, man. But I tried to slide, I started to slide in there, but I figured the door was locked and I didn't want to be beaten and disrupting, Because last night I slid up there and the door was locked. Dewan was the only one up there. So I just went on Zoom,
Mm-hmm.
He got a suite next door, man. This is a whole situation, man. Just all decked out, the living quarters and everything, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, he's a smooth young guy. I wouldn't doubt it, man.
Man,
He probably got some loft. He probably
he,
got a nice little loft around there somewhere.
he working
Man,
24/7, man.
I
If
need
people call him, he
it.
just wake up and get on a Zoom call. That's it.
Yeah, man, he got a little spot down there, tucked away.
I would love that.
Yeah, we ain't gonna tell it.
Yeah, I would definitely love it, but I guess I'm in the bunkers, right? You know what I'm saying? We where the work need to be, and it's nonstop right now for us. So, but
Hey, do y'all know if the Great Lakes Technology Center is open, or is it still shut down?
What do you mean, Insight?
The Great Lakes Technology Center over across the street from Graceline Cemetery.
From Graceline?
Yeah, it's across the street from Graceline. The Great Lakes, the computer lab.
I ain't even hip to. I wouldn't even hip to.
Where
Elks Club.
George
The old Elks Club.
George Cooper was running at him and Carla.
Okay, the old Elks Club right next to Vibes.
No, it's a little further down. It's by the old seamstress,
Taylor Shop.
the tailor shop is right behind the tailor shop.
Oh, I ain't hip to that building, man. I don't even know, brother. I can check it out, but
Yeah,
that's
if it's not open, they need to fund that and get that back open to give the kids the opportunity to get that access to that technology again. They need
well,
to
I
figure
know
that
they had
out.
all them computers up there in that one next to the Vibes Club too, man. They had computers and a lot of stuff they was offering as well,
Oh, you
man.
talking about that church, the
Yeah,
place that they turned into church? Okay,
yeah.
yeah. Well,
They had some good stuff too,
$20 million.
man.
We
With brother Jalil.
I was calling to see what time we supposed to meet at.
All right, y'all. I'm about to wrap it up myself.
Okay, peace and love, brothers.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
all right, peace and blessings, family. Good conversation, man, and we're gonna tap in with everybody tomorrow.
Bet it up.
All right.
Okay.
Hey.
So that